All right. So we're going to go over the review. Now, this is our, I would say, the core of algebra, solving equations. So we're going to start from the small and then we'll build up. So in this case, let's start with some one steps. For example, x plus 3 equals 10. In order to solve that, all I do is go subtract 3 on both sides.
Or you can just guess what x is.
Again, please, everything's being recorded, so don't say things that are regrettable that makes your parents go, oh my God, don't do that. So when you have addition, you do this opposite, subtraction. When you have subtraction, you do opposite addition. Same's work for multiplication. 2x equals 16. What we can do is divide both sides by 2. So then that's going to be x equals 8. So in one-step questions, we get the core lesson, which is if you do the opposite operation, you will get rid of the original one on the x. Our goal is always to get x by itself, and we do that by kicking everything else out. So the first one, if one step, we're going to go another step, which is 2 steps. So if I have something like this, 3x plus 2 equals 17. In this situation, I have 2 things. What do I do first? You have to think about it. I'm not solving x, as in like I plug in x and solve it normally. I have to use the reverse PEMDAS order, which means I'm going to get rid of what I would do last. In this case, usually I would multiply and then add. Since we're doing reverse PEMDAS, we're going to take away the adding, then take away the multiplication. So the first thing I'm going to do is minus 2 on both sides. Minusing 2 on both sides gives me 3x equals 15. After that, I'm going to divide 3 on both sides. X equals 5. If you ever need to check your work, as in if you finish your test early, and you're just like, well, what I'm doing, you could always check your work by taking your answer and plugging it into x. So 3 times 5 plus 2 equals 17. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 equals 17. 17 equals 17. So if they match, you know you did it right. That's a check. But here, this is all I'm asking for, x equals 5. But you have a way to check all your work. Yes?
On the test, did like show our work?
Yes. Yes.
So what happens if I don't do the math and I just guess and I can just just put I can just put the number for x.
I'll take off 1 point each time you do that.
Oh,
Okay. I'm going to the next page. You got a question?
Like you said, it's 3x plus 3x equals 10.
I just want to see that you did a minus 3 somewhere. Well, you put it here, or you put it somewhere above it. I don't care. I just want to show. I want you to show me you know it was minus 3. Because I'm not asking you to be able to mental math this. I'm asking you to actually do the steps. And the reason I ask you to do steps on something easy is that when it gets harder and harder, you know the steps. All right. So after 2-step, it's going to be multi-step. So things where we have to do multiple things. One reason we might have to do multiple things is distribution. So 3x plus 6 equals 24. When we have this, the easiest thing you could do is distribute the 3 to everything inside the parenthesis. So 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 6 is 18. 3x plus 18 equals 24. From there, I've just changed it to a 2-step equation. Everything we do is going back down, down, down to that 1-step equation. Minus 18, minus 18. 3x equals 6. Divided by 3, divided by 3. X equals 2. Another reason we have a multi-step occur is because we got to combine like terms before we start. 4x, let me do it in black. 4x plus 7 plus 2x equals 37. In this case, we have to combine like terms first. So 2x and 4x are alike terms. Since they're on the same side of the equal sign, you treat it normally. So 2x plus 4x is a normal 6x. A very common error that occurs is that people, because you're always thinking about, oh, how do I bring it to the other side? They think they're bringing 2x to the other side to 4x, and they will subtract by 2x. No. Combine like terms normally when you're on the same side of the equal sign. Either way, this is going to become 6x plus 7 equals 37, minus 7 minus 7. 6x equals 30, divided by 6 divided by 6. X equals 5. Okay? Now, beyond multi-step is variables on two sides. So variables when they're on both sides of the equation. 3x plus 5 equals 5x minus 7. This is how Mr. Tobel, me, is going to tell you how to do it every time. Move the smallest x over. So you look at these two and you say, which one's the smallest, 3x or 5x? 3x is the smallest one of those two. So I always recommend moving the smallest x. That will help you avoid negatives. So minus 3x minus 3x. 5 equals 2x minus 7. Plus 7 plus 7.
Is the test tomorrow?
Next week.
So how would it be?
Divided by 2, divided by 2. 6 equals x. Okay? Another situation. 3x plus 2x plus 7 equals 4x plus 10. Before you move over the x's or the y's or any variable, you want to make sure you combine like terms first or distribute if that's important also. So I'm combining 3x and 2x into 5x plus 7 equals 4x plus 10. Guys, Yafa. So then I'm going to subtract the smallest x here. So 4x on both sides. So that's x plus 7 equals 10. Minus 7 on both sides. X equals 3. Yeah? Yes. One thing that scares you guys, but it's not too bad, are fractions. Let's talk about how we deal with fractions. Equals, let's say 24. To deal with fractions, there's two ways to handle it. I'm going to teach you it this way because I think it's the most simple way. You're going to break it up at one piece at a time. 3 over 4 is the same thing as saying 3 times x divided by 4. If I break it up as two separate things, I could see I need to do the opposite of dividing by 4 and the opposite of dividing by or multiplying by 3. Which means what I can do is multiply both sides by a 4 over here and a 4 over here. If I multiply a 4, that gets rid of divide by 4. So that crosses out, which means I have 3x equals 96. Then from there, I'm going to divide 3 on both sides. Divide 3 on both sides. X equals 36. So when you have a fraction, I would take care of 32. 32. No, yeah, 32. With that in mind, when you have a fraction, I would say multiply the bottom first and make it stop being a fraction. We don't like fractions, so get rid of it right away. If you have something like this, negative 2x plus 3 equals x minus 12. In this one, as I say, you always move the smallest x. In this case, though, the smallest x here is not 1, it's negative 2. So don't forget to count as negatives in terms of figuring out which one's smaller. Which means I'm going to do plus 2x plus 2x. 3 equals 3x minus 12. Then we're going to do plus 12 on both sides. 15 equals 3x, divided by 3 on both sides. X equals 5. So we did one step, two step, multi-step, steps on both sides. Let's deal with fractions and proportions, okay? For proportions, let's say x over 4 equals 8 over 12. What we can do is always, no matter if there's an equation or not, circle these diagonally, and I'll use different colors to help show it. Now, I know a question was popped up the first time I did it. It doesn't matter if you put the red circle first or the purple circle first, as long as they're equal to each other. So when I circle it like this, what I'm going to do is multiply them. So that's going to be 12 times x equals 8 times 4. However you write it with parentheses or not, I don't care. So 12x equals 8 times 4, 1632. Divided by 12, divided by 12. X equals 32 over 12, which we can simplify by taking out a 2 on top and bottom.
Or you can do it by like 4.
Or we could take it a 4 on.
I feel like 6.
Wait, I thought that. Why can't you just do?
Or you could do it in your calculator. Yes, you could do it in your calculator. Which is going to be 3 over 8.
8 over 3.
8 over 3, my
But
bad.
then,
If you want to change that as a decimal, or if you do it in your calculator, you could always do it in your calculator. What's going to pop up is 2.6 repeating.
Wait, why didn't you just do 32 divided by 12?
You could do 32 divided by 12, which is 2.6 repeating.
So the answer would be x.
If you do it in your calculator and give me a decimal, no, you don't have
would you
to.
want to? Would you take either?
I'll take either. Yes.
What's the line where this is?
6 repeating, so that means it's 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 forever.
We're gonna have to put that on the top of
If your decimal is in the calculator, if it says 2.6666666, you need to show me it's repeating. So put a line on top.
What if
Okay.
there's like one that's off?
Like the last one is going to say 7, but that's just because the calculator can't keep going, so it just rounded the last one. It is actually 6 forever, but the calculator can't show forever, so it just stops that sooner or later. You got to recognize that means 6 repeating. So proportions are not only just variables by itself, it could be a full expression. 2x over 10 equals 8 over 20. And this one, we're still going to cross multiply. So we do 20 times 2x equals 8 times 10.
You said you're posting this on YouTube, so what's your YouTube channel?
I'll post on Google Classroom, so it'll be on the YouTube channel, but I think it is Brandon Tobel. I think it is.
Any other
Do I think I have any competition? I don't know.
do you have any other YouTube videos?
Of classes, of videos I made in the past years, yeah.
Wait, like we should like you show the class
What do you
like,
mean?
how to do stuff. Because they see like other.
You're gonna watch them, you're gonna binge math videos?
No, I'm not really learning anything other than this.
What are you asking? The videos are from last year, so yeah.
Wait, where are you filming from?
The computer? What are you talking
Guys,
about?
just listen and we'll post on Google
Yeah.
Classroom.
And then you can even listen to this conversation forever.
I love those things.
I would hate to see this.
Potato, potato. Right? No, that's not the right term. Some people like things. No, I don't know what to say. Whatever. All right. X plus 3 over, I'll do 10 again. equals, you know what? I'll do 8 over 20 actually. It works still. So this one, in this cross multiplication, again, we're going to cross multiply. In the purple, please make sure to write it like this. 20 times the whole x plus 3. Everything on the top is being multiplied by 20. And I show that with a parenthesis. And that's going to equal 8 times 10. So 20x plus, remember to distribute, 60 equals 80. 20x, oh, I'm going to subtract 60 on both sides. 20x equals 20. I remember yesterday we talked about what if it's the same number? You still do the math. Divided by 20, divided by 20. X equals 1. Okay? One last type of proportion is a written one. Let's say Bill, I don't know, what does he do? What is Bill's job? What is his job?
He does science.
Science. But I need, okay. Bill does, I don't know, 5 units of science. I can't write science. There we go. Bill does 5 units of science every, how long, is he slow or fast at this?
Fast.
Fast? Every 3 minutes.
That's a lot.
How much science, units of science, you're right.
What science units? No, unit science.
How much units of science does Bill accomplish?
Are there any word problems?
Yeah, like this. Except they're written to make sense, but yes. In, I don't know, an hour.
Yeah.
Can I say the answer? That's just like not right.
All right. So I'm going to show you how to set this up, and then I'll do the same question just with a different way.
When you just wait, I have a question. When you just like see how many like
Yeah, you could do it like that.
every-
Yeah. Okay. So-
that was my question.
I know. I know how I would do it, which would be the same way you would do it, but I'm showing you with proportions to make sure we can do it no matter what. So, every 5 units of science,
I think someone's left.
there is 3 minutes, okay? So 5 units for every 3 minutes equals, I don't know how many units yet, so I'm going to put X because that's unknown, but I know I'm going to take an hour doing it. How many minutes are in an hour? So we're going to put 60 minutes for here.
Did you go on 100, like 20?
So what we're going to do is cross multiply.
How do you know where the 5 and 3 go?
It doesn't matter if you make the 5 the top or the 3 on top. What matters is you're consistent. So if I put 5, because that's units, I have to make sure that X is also on top. If I put 3 on the bottom, let's say for minutes, I have to make sure the other minutes are on the bottom. So as long as you're consistent, it doesn't matter if it's top or bottom. So 3x equals 5 times 60. So 3x equals 300.
Why does 3x equal 300?
Because you times 5.
60.
5 times 60 is 300. Then divided by 3, divided by 3,
Yes!
x equals 100. Okay? Okay. So in this one, I knew how much time I took. I had to figure out how many units I do. In the next one, how long does it take for Bill
Okay, I think something's going on.
To do 50, 60 units of science.
180 minutes.
Doesn't make sense. He did 100 in 60 minutes.
I said I remember trying
Nah, just be quiet. All right. So, in this case, the fraction is actually the same. My first fraction is the same. 5 over 3. Units over minutes.
36 minutes.
So over here, they're a little bit different. The units, I know, in this case 60. But the time it takes is unknown. So I'm going to put X. So you see how it's a little different? Depending on what I know and don't know is where I put it, on top or bottom.
Is it 13 minutes?
I said 36. No, you forgot to do 13 minutes.
What? Oh, wait.
So we're going to cross multiply.
If I'm wrong, I'm gonna do something wrong.
60 times 3 equals
Is it 39?
5 times X, so 5X. 180 equals 5X. Divided by 5, divided by 5.
Does it matter if
It's
I
not
do
gonna be
X
a whole
over
number,
60?
right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, wait, it is. Yeah, I really.
As long, did you do 3 over
That
5?
was
Yeah.
18.
Okay, that's fine. As long as it's a match.
Yeah.
So then, 36 equals X.
Oh yeah, that's right.
All right, that's pretty much all the questions on your test.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.